So, how are you today?
I am doing very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, very relaxing. It's nice. We have holiday, yay!
Yes, and it's not raining right now, so I went out and got a walk in a little while ago. So
Wow,
very
nice.
nice, and it's yeah, good to be able to have some time to take care of all of the stuff we need to for school.
Yeah, hope you have a great day. So,
You
Mr.
too.
Sean, this is my. Did you watch my teaching video?
I did. I read the lesson plan and I watched the teaching video.
Yeah, actually I'm it's a STEM class because some teacher is called sick, so I'm gonna
Mhm.
cover the STEM class. So we're gonna do the fridge magnet in that class.
Mhm.
So I just try my best to achieve our learning goal, help kids to design their fridge magnet and yeah, just create their artwork. Mm.
Yeah, it was really good. I saw it. I liked it, and I thought it was a good time to show off other skills and practice other skills in your teaching abilities. So I think that that's good to use like multiple classes and multiple different groups in order to kind of show different skills because it is hard when you only have one or two students to show kind of the broad range of
Yes.
teaching skills. So this is a good example, and it also shows you areas that you can improve on as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I just felt it's very different when I'm teaching only two student, and with the whole
Mhm.
class, I felt, it's hard to manage the whole class. I just felt I can't take care of everyone's needs because somebody raised hand, teacher, I want to answer the question, but I'm just talking about, I didn't finish introduce the learning goal or something, then I have to continue. Then I just ignore the kids. So I think is that right? Should I just stop and get the kids an opportunity to speak?
Well, I think we can, yeah, let's talk about that now. So there were, it is a different environment, obviously. That's a 2C or 2D?
2D with 17
D.
students. Yeah.
Yeah, so I taught them a little bit last semester
Wow.
when one of the teachers was gone. Just half of the group, the blue group, when it was C and D. So I knew those students pretty well. One thing that, well, after you watched it, what is something that you noticed? You obviously said, you had different students raising their hands, and should you call on them or not? But are there any other things that you noticed that were a little bit difficult, or that if you had a chance, you would go back and try again?
Yeah, yes. I just sometimes I think I'm the teacher, but sometimes if somebody asks a question, then I might lose my focus then to the other thing. Then I might, not follow the lesson plan, and it's also the time is limited. So sometimes it's just teaching is it's hard. It's not that kind of easy if you have a whole, lots of students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that the lesson, like you should never just think you have to stick to the lesson plan. If something happened, you have to be flexible because the students are flexible. The lesson plan is just that. It's a plan to help guide you. But if at some point things change, or especially if it's a new class that you're not used to being in front of, a plan is just that. It's a plan, and it is
Mm.
important to be flexible with regard to a student asking a question, maybe not at the right time, I think it depends on what your priority. If the objective at that moment is to explain something to them, maybe that you are answering the student's question already. And so if you think, what, first I want to get through this and then I'll answer questions, you can tell the student, give me a minute, I will answer all questions, or I will give instructions, and then I will give you a chance to answer the question, ask a question. That way, because it may be a student, he's got a question that takes you out here, and then it takes you off on a different path. And so, if your goal right then is say, we need to get through the instructions, then in maybe a minute or two, once I've done that, then I'll give you a chance to ask your question. That's
Mm.
okay, and you can tell students that, be like, oh, no questions right now. Give me 1 minute to finish this, and then I'll give you an opportunity to answer
Oh,
questions. That's okay.
okay.
Because some students, yeah, and some students may not, especially in some of the lower grades, maybe they're not listening, and so they didn't hear something. But you want to kind of keep a pace and keep track of where you are.
Mm,
Maybe it's you. And maybe it's a question that a lot of other students have. So it is important to get to questions. It all depends on what is the plan and priority right then. And it sounded
mm,
like at the beginning, it was the plan and priority to explain what we're doing and then to take questions afterwards. That's okay. You have to decide. And the more you're teaching a class, the more you know that certain students, maybe they like to ask more questions, or certain students, there's some students who kind of like to ask questions that maybe aren't as relevant at that moment. And so like right now, we need to get through this, and then I'll answer your question individually. So the more you teach a class, the more you get to know what it is. And then you also have to think of your priority of where are you in the
mm,
time that we're at, what do we need to accomplish. So keeping all of those in mind is important, and then you just have to decide. And it is one of the things that I would say that I noticed is that at the beginning, let's see here. Standard 1.1, students engage in conversation and provide and obtain information, express feelings and emotions, and exchange opinions.
mm.
Um, so with that, and I used to do this as well, is just kind of calling on individual students. And sometimes that's okay. But normally, and I think we saw in the video, there are always going to be those 3 or 4 students who like, I want to answer, I want to answer, I want to
Yes.
answer. And then there are other ones who are a little more shy. And it is very important to make sure you engage those students and bring those students along as well. There are different ways you can do that. If maybe you're asking a question, these students are grouped up in a table of 4. And so if you trust that they're going to be able to stay on task, maybe you give the question, you let them talk for a minute in their table so they can practice what they want to say, and then ask students. And then maybe if,
Mm,
because a lot of times some of the shy students, maybe they don't want to answer in front of everyone else because they're shy in front of the class. But maybe if they have a chance to practice in the small group that they're more comfortable with, then maybe they might feel confident enough to answer in front of the class. There's also times where it's important to push some of those shy students and make them involved. So something like if you
mm.
have Class Dojo up, you can just pick a random student, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
student, you can ask that student to answer. Or a lot of people do the popsicle sticks with all the names on it. Whatever works
Oh,
best
yeah.
for you. Um, I think that is the best. And that way you make sure that you kind of engage as the largest amount possible, because it
Mm,
sometimes, if we all fall back into the you have your 3 or 4 who want to answer every single question. But it is important, and part of the standard to engage all students and get them all in a conversation. Sometimes that's hard with just kind of a one-on-one teacher and student. And so
yes.
putting them in small groups, you had all the video, the PPT, you had that up there. So you had the questions. Give them a chance. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to talk about this. How much time am I going to give you? Who are you going to talk with? Okay, go. Making sure that they know that way and then you can kind of walk around, and if an individual student has a question, then you can kind of go and you can observe, see how
Mm,
things are going, and then answer those particular questions as well.
mm,
And so again, that just comes with time. You're going to find that the more you do it, the more you're going to experiment with what works for you. What works
mm.
for me in that class is going to be very different than what works for you for many reasons. You can use Chinese more in class where I can't. I don't have that ability. So there are different, and so with if I'm asking the students to use their second language, their L2, I have to understand that it's going to be very difficult for some. So that's why for me, I would
Yes.
make sure I give them an opportunity to talk in a small group, to collect their thoughts, to see what they want to say, to practice what they want to say with
Mm,
others, and then give them the opportunity to speak out. And so for me, that's what works. For you, it might be slightly different. There might be other techniques, and that's why it's important to kind of watch other teachers, and you'll find other teachers that you really like and be like, I want to steal your idea because your idea seems to work, and I think I can use that in my teaching as well. So it's important to watch a lot of other teachers, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then try it out. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work, and then you just kind of think about, why did it work? What should I try next time? If I could do it again, what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
all of those all of those questions are going to be important. But I would say overall it was a good class. One thing I noticed at the beginning, and something that I do with, especially if it's not my class and I have to be in there, the students may not know me, or if they do know me, I just tell all the kids, all right, time to take everything off your desk, because I know there was that student in the back uh, near the camera who was like cutting money that he probably got from the
Yes.
math class, and it's like, you know what, it's not math time right now, it's STEM time. um and there are students who are very easily um distracted,
Yeah,
and
lose
so
attention. Yeah.
yeah, and so
Playing the chairs. Yeah.
yeah, so it's important to kind of minimize the distractions as much as possible. And then, especially, I think, as a new teacher, to be very, maybe not strict is the word, but set the expectations early. No, I'm sorry, you turn your chair around. You don't sit like that in the class. Um, no, you don't get to talk with other people. So make sure at the very beginning that they know what the expectations are in the class, and then if they kind of break those rules, or if they do something, you let them know, we don't do that. You know how I want you to act. I've seen how you act with, the other
Mm.
teacher. I want you to do the same thing, and just let them know, so that they know early, so that some of those students who tend to be easily distracted, you can keep their attention more, because those are the students and later who are going to be like, teacher, I don't know what to do. And you could be like, well, yeah, I know you don't know what to do because you were cutting money during that time.
Yeah.
So making sure that, a lot of times I'll just tell students, like, no, you don't need a pencil. You don't need anything right now. When we need that, I'll let you know. But right now, nothing on the desk. We're all here. We're all eyes up on the board. Um, we're all, and then engaging with all of them, so it keeps all of their attention.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. So
so just,
yeah, I have a question. So
mhm.
when the teacher saw a kid is so when we have already started the class, but there is one or two students they still cutting something. So should I, just like show the class rules again to remind everyone, that everybody can understand the rules before the in the class? Should I, or after when I've already started my class, but I saw the kids that I just hey everybody, let's review what's the class rules. Should I do that?
Uh, I mean, if it's just one student, I don't think that we need to take time. I wouldn't take time to tell everybody the rules. But one of the things that I do is I try to always be moving around. If there's
Mm.
something on the board, I'm not going to be standing right in front of the board and just pointing at it. They can already see that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm walking around the back, walking in between the rows, and then as I'm talking, because then they're noticing that I'm moving around too, and they can't focus on maybe what's in front of them. They focus on the teacher, focus on listening to me, focus on looking up there, and I kind of direct their eyes up there and their ears toward me. But then I'll go around to that student and I'll just very quietly be like, please put that away. You're not supposed to
Mm.
be doing that right now. That way I don't make a scene for that student in front of everyone else, because I don't want to call that student out and be like, hey, you put that away right now. Unless that's what the situation calls for. But if it's
Oh, okay.
just if it's just one kid with kind of something on his desk and he's playing with it, I'll kind of walk around, and then as I get to that kid, after I finish a sentence, I'll kind of very quietly lean in and be like, please put that away. You're not supposed to be playing with that. Eyes up on the board. Just something
Oh,
like that, like a quick reminder, and the kid's like,
oh.
okay, yeah, 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 puts it away. Okay, in your backpack, put it away, and then moving on very quickly, because the goal is to continue the class and to minimize distractions. And so, as a teacher, we don't want to be a distraction to what's happening. We want the class to continue and we're moving forward, and we want this student to also be a part of it as well. And so moving around, making, like looking, you're able to see everything a lot easier as well. And then kind of going back and then, continue your path, to make it look natural. But if I saw a kid in the back, I would do that. I'd kind of just make my way, tell him, what I
Mm.
expect of him, and then keep going. That way it doesn't distract the other students who, are now who are still kind of engaged in what we're doing.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Shah. I think I'm more clear about the distraction case. Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it just comes with practice. And the example I'm giving is what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, next time you're in the class and something like that happens, try that. Or ask some other teachers, what would you do? And then try some of their methods as well, because there are lots of different teachers. For me, whenever I go into a class at the very beginning, it's like everything off your desk, no water, no, just everything off your desk. We don't need it now. You don't need your water
Mm.
on your desk. And so at the very beginning, like a few minutes before class, I'm trying to set the stage that, okay, it's class time, get ready. We're not wasting time once class starts, where you're not going to the bathroom, water. No, no, no. We don't do that now. Or we do
Mm.
that now. We don't do that when class starts. And the same thing with everything. So setting the expectation as early as you can, and then kind of sticking with that. And, you know, no matter what, some
Mm.
kid's gonna like turn around in his chair, they're gonna be playing, they're gonna be poking each other. It
Yeah.
happens. That will always happen in every class, with every age group, with every group of students. And it's just you know, slowly trying to stop it and control it where you can, and to keep the train moving as best as possible.
Just like some quick and smaller reminder. I think you shared with me just now. I think
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah, yeah. And for me, I think I'm a new teacher, and sometimes I'm too gentle to the kids, and I'm familiar with the 2D students, so they know me. So sometimes I don't know. I just can't like I don't have that kind of feeling of like if I speak something, then the students they follow my instruction. Um, yeah, I think
There are two
how.
ways to look at it. One, they know you, so they're comfortable with you, so you have a rapport with them. They know who you are, and you can talk with them. At the same time, they know you, and so they might think that they can get away with more. So you have to balance that. You
Mm,
want a nice, positive classroom, but you also don't want students to take advantage of the fact that you're nice and you're friendly with them, in some of your other duties that you work with them.
yeah.
In this class right now, I am the teacher, and the rules and expectations in class. I don't know if I know some of the classes use Class Dojo. I don't know if that
Yeah,
class.
we do also use the class dojo, and we also have a like a reward and a punishment system on the wall on the board
Yeah,
whiteboard.
I would use that very early and very often, when in any class, but especially when I'm in a new class. I use it very often. As soon as
Mm.
I come in, okay, all of these students are ready. I'm giving them positives. I'm very quick to give positive praise, but then as soon as I want some action, or to stop certain actions, I will take away, and I will show that certain actions are not acceptable. So
Mm.
they hear students talking without raising their hand automatically. Nope, you didn't raise your hand. Okay, as soon as they raise their hand, then okay, good job, thank you for raising your hand. What would you like to say? So, setting the expectations early and often with their
Mm.
normal homeroom teacher, with their normal banjaran. They know, they do these every day, so they're second nature. But with a new teacher in the class, it's very important to very early let them know what you expect of them, and then hold them to those expectations, especially if they are classroom expectations that the students have known all year so far.
Mm.
I
Mm.
would very early and often praise good behavior, and show that the bad behavior is not acceptable in the classroom.
Mm. Thank you. That's very useful classroom management strategy. Yeah, I think sometimes I know the knowledge, but classroom management is so hard.
Yeah, and it just takes time. And sometimes you do well, and sometimes you don't. There's sometimes where I have, one student who just decides, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to do what you say. And they like I'll sit there the other day and I was like, I don't know how I can get to this child and speak to them right now. Um, and so no matter what, it's always challenging, and you always just try to do your best and think about next time how you can do better.
Mm, mm. Thank you, thank you. I learned a lot from you. Yeah, maybe next time I can appoint a time to watch your class. Then I can learn more. Yeah.
Anytime you want, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. I think I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, with the rest of the standards, I did think student
Mm,
understand and interpret the project based class and the application of knowledge. They were all, most of them were able to do it. I think that it is important to show how all of the students are able to do it. I think you showed, with conversation that a lot of them did. But then it's important to make sure that all of them get that opportunity. Um, Asking and answering questions about details that you talked about. Yeah, so I think you hit all of them. I thought the class was good. But yeah, we can all always improve our classroom management.
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
and it's difficult as a subject teacher. If you're a homeroom teacher and you're with that class all the time, all day, this is your house, this is your zone, all of it. But when you have to go here to here to here, and many teachers are teaching them, it's very complicated, and it's, in my opinion, not the best situation for some of the younger students. I think that they need consistency, and to you know that really helps them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So did you felt yeah, yeah, maybe I we have the same feeling. Like in China, we always teach like a single subject. Every teacher comes, so maybe 5 or 6 teacher come to the class every day. But in the USA, is that means like we have the whole subject teacher, so only one homeroom teacher in the class the whole day, right? Or
yeah,
sometimes with
well,
TA. Mm.
so some of the time when I previously taught at a school in Shenzhen, when I was a homeroom teacher, I would do an hour and a half of English language arts in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
an hour of math, an hour of science, and that would be the whole morning, and that's what I would do. In the afternoon, a Chinese teacher would come and teach a Chinese subject. Then they would go, and there was a PE teacher as well. But for
Mm.
the core subjects outside of Chinese, I would do all of them, because I think,
Oh.
for the most part, if you're an elementary school teacher, even
Mm.
if language arts is what I focus on, I
Oh,
should
okay.
still be able to teach math and science, especially at a lower level. Once you get to middle school and high school, some of the subjects get a little more advanced, and it's important to have specialist teachers. But I also agree, at the lower level, at the elementary, primary school level, having a true homeroom teacher. I
Mm.
just think it's better for the students and the teacher, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So it's not in our school, it's a little bit different, right? It's very special. Like we have
Yeah, I
Banduran.
mean, all schools are going to be different, because we are at a private school. This is the plan they think is best, and that's what we
Mm.
do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's just and the other thing for me, I think, is the time management.
Hmm.
Because we didn't finish we have 2 sessions of the class. It's like not only 40 minutes, it's nearly over like 80 minutes, but uh, we learn very slowly, so we still didn't finish our artwork. So I think, yeah, sometimes I think time management for me is also difficult for me. Like 17 kids or more, even more kids. Yeah, I always distracted by the kids if they ask question or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you are coming in and substituting for the class, it's very common, and it's not something to be too worried about. Um, think about ways afterwards. What are some ways that I can stick to my schedule a little bit better.
Mm.
Maybe, having I know some people, especially with Class Dojo, they've got a timer. And so you'd be like, okay, we have 15 minutes. That's what you
Oh.
got. Put the time up there so that the students also know they can visualize,
Mm.
I have 10 minutes left, or I'm working on this, so they're less likely maybe to talk with other students or play around and then need a few extra minutes at the end. Um, I also struggle with time management. I like to talk with students. I like to engage, and sometimes it's for good, and sometimes I know that I need to stick to it a little bit more.
Mm.
Just keep practicing and decide, what works best for you.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Shang. I take lots of notes today. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think I don't have any questions for this video. You give me lots of very, very valuable suggestions for me. I will do more, just polish everything that I hope I can do more better next time, next teaching video. Next video is my last video for the
Okay.
whole program. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it. Yeah.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. Thank you for
No
your
problem.
help.
Have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you need anything else.
Okay, thank you. Have a great weekend. Yeah, bye bye.
Bye
See
bye.
you.